Hello, I'm Jody Wolf, and you're watching Expoz, January 25, 2020, and it's 4:49 p.m. Birmingham. Topic: it's about Russia and the elections and something else that may be in here. But let me tell you where I've been. I've been listening to Sign of the Times, and the next two blogs I'm going to do will be based on Signs of the Times by Don Stewart, and that was January 9, 2020, that he posted it. It's Calvary Chapel, East Anaheim. Now, what's interesting is I'm the only one, as of so far, no one else has mentioned this, but I'm the only one that believes that Putin will not be the one who leads his army, the Russian military, into the battle of Ezekiel 38. I still believe that. And now, by what's going on, I believe it more than ever. And I'm going to tell you why. What Don Stewart has talked about was the moving around in all of the Middle East, getting ever so closer to Israel. This is Russia. When we left, Russia, more of them comes in. And now Libya is kind of a no man's land. It's UN oversees that country with no real government body in it. So it looks as though ISIS, they're beginning to creep into Libya. And so here's what's going to happen. Russia will eventually go in and quickly remove ISIS. That'll be another of their strongholds, but it won't be led by them. It'll be Libya, as to why they're mentioned in the Ezekiel 38 as well. So Russia will have a force there, but the leader that's going to lead the Russian military in there may be not Putin, but Medvedev. Now, let me tell you why. Here's what they've had in 1996 and 2000, 2004, 2012, all those years, you had Putin as a president. Between those years, you've had Medvedev, 2008, and you've had others that were prime ministers, but all of which Putin had influence over. So today, we know that Putin is taking the prime minister's position because the Russian government party stepped down, or the federal government stepped down. So Putin, his time is up. By the way, also in 2008, they moved the voting. Instead of a Russian president being 4 years, his term goes to 6 years. And for some, that means 6 years and 6 years. Instead of like Obama was here 4 years, and before him, 4 years, before him was 4. Everybody gets 4 year terms basically to fulfill what they can. In Russia, moved theirs to 6 years. 4 years can't hardly get enough of a job done that to meet all their promises to the people. And besides that, all those who ran against him never got over 10% of the vote. So Putin has been kind of not only the leader, but pretty much moving himself where he wants to be. Okay, So Putin's time for re-election is coming up. So the government body quits, and which is ideal for him because then he moves to the prime minister's position and then holds government elections for the president. And you can bet Medvedev more than likely will be the one to be the president, DIMTRY Medvedev. And let me tell you why. He and Putin are like this. And if you recall, the last time you saw Medvedev as president, you saw him sitting with Obama. And Obama was saying, hey, got this on stage. You guys saw this. Hey, I can do more as soon as I'm reelected. So y'all just hang in there. And he said, yeah, I'll tell Putin what you said. So Medvedev was prime minister. Putin was president when Obama told Medvedev, I can do more. So Medvedev is going to tell President Putin, hey, Obama's going to do more. So if you think there's a hanky-panky going on, there it is, wide open. You got it on stage and on tape. All right, but I hadn't got to my point yet. My point, I keep saying that Putin knows the Bible. He knows the dangers of him leading a military force against the Jews, the Israeli people. He knows what the Bible says about 5 out of 6 of those will perish of all who comes against Israel. Now, 2 things. They go in because of some needs. And with that, they go after the spoils of war. Well, Putin's after not necessarily the spoils of war. You take the SP off of the spoils, and he's going after the oil. Putin needs that badly today. But if he is prime minister and Medvedev is president, that is bingo. That is it. That is the setup of his entire life and his master plan that's fallen right into his lap. He's made it. And by this move now, what that is saying is within the next 6 years, he is betting that Ezekiel 38 will take place. That's his bet. And you see it by the movement. He has forces that will kind of free Libya from the stronghold of ISIS. They'll come in. They need some spoils of war. And then you'll have Somalia. They'll come in. And of course you have Iran. You have Turkey. And you have Russia led by Medvedev, where all these that comes in, 5 out of 6 of those will die. Putin will be sitting in Russia back on the throne because Medvedev will be gone. And he'll be where he wants to be. And Medvedev has gone after the oil. Didn't get it, though. Remember, their armies were wiped out in Ezekiel 38 because that's when no one came to stand with God's people, the Jews. God's anger is thrown up in his face. He himself wiped out those armies. So that's a good and a bad, but for Putin, he's alive, and he'll be the leader, he'll be the president of Russia after this. But what's it going to gain him? He's not going to gain him anything. He just lived, was all. Now, what goes beyond there, only God knows. But if he's betting that the Ezekiel 38 war will take place, then the rapture will have just occurred prior to that. We're out of here. And Putin, if he claims to be the Christian he is, that he won't go against the Jews, he might be saved. he himself, he might be out of there. So it wouldn't matter whether he was president or prime minister. The point I just wanted to make as to why Putin was dancing the way he has been. And this may be what's happening. Anyway, go to Signs of the Times, Don Stewart, really good study on January 9, 2020, and the whole thing. And there's more coming out of this that I got to tell you, and you're not going to like it. Jody Wolf, Expoz.